using the ellipse arc. Click on the ellipse arc here, specify an axis point, and the next axis point can also be specified, but I'm not giving it distance this time around. You can key in a distance here, and otherwise you click, and then the distance to the other axis is something that you can also key by typing in a distance, maybe 1.5 or 2 meters or something, whatever. And I'm not going to do just that. I'm doing it conceptual. I'll just get the shape I want, and then I'll click and specify the start angle to be cutting off, because this is an arc. So I will specify somewhere at the here at this edge, and then I will go this way through down to somewhere around here. Okay, let me disable the my auto by pressing the F8 key, and okay, so that my movement will be diagonal. So I will come around here just at this point and click. So you will see that it will chop up just this part in which I'm trying to achieve. So that's how you can make use of the ellipse arc. You see, it's an ellipse, but at the same time an arc. Now, inserting blocks. Inserting block in AutoCAD is something you have to click on the dialog on the tool there, and it takes you to a dialog box like this. So if you have already created some block objects, for example, like your windows, doors, and door panels or whatever, they will definitely be on this list here, but because you have done nothing, you won't see them. You can also browse for additional templates. That is, if you created them and you save them somewhere, AutoCAD objects, you can load them right in there by just clicking open. They will load in the list, and once you have them here, is to select that particular one and then pressing the OK button, and it will definitely load into the project. So the next here, which is make block, this is where you make those blocks that are usually inserted into the AutoCAD. So making block is something that is quite simple. To make a block, it's combining of objects together. So let's draw out some objects here. Let's draw something that goes in like this and comes out, and these are two separate objects, and we want to make them a single unit. So you select it like this, and then click on the make block. So AutoCAD will now give you a preview of the objects you selected, telling you that those are the objects that are going to be blocked. So you now give it a file name, let's say cast block, and then you click OK. So this object will now be converted to a block object. If you mouse over any part of it, now it becomes a solid object. As you can see, I'm mousing over, is showing me a preview that is a single object. So now if you make use of the insert, you will definitely find it useful by having the cast block. This is insert, mind you, cast block right here, and you see it in the list. That was what I was trying to explain. You can then say OK, and then it will bring in cast block as well. So in future, you have a lot of blocks. You make a lot of blocks, and they'll be in there for you, such that you don't need to redo anything. You just go there and just insert your block. Using the point tool. The point tool is a very powerful tool that can enable you to create multiple point objects, as the sample in the pictorial view just popped up. So if you are a civil engineer, this is good to go with you during geometric designs. And if you're a town planner, then during your subdivisions, you will definitely need points to work with. And if you're a surveyor, wow, this is something great for horizontal alignment. So this is how you make use of the tool. Assuming you have a horizontal alignment here, this is the center line of a road, and you're given a curve data which has not been established yet, but you've given the data. So how do you plan your curve data here? You first of all set up the points, because using the point directly like this will never give you what you want. I mean, never give you the appropriate thing. You see, I have just clicked on the point and then click just around here, but I can't see anything visible. I'm just seeing some little dots. That's not good to go. So let's select that and delete, and set up the points. So to set up your point, you first of all need to have an idea of the kind of codes that has to go with the point. So just mouse over to the point and then press F1 on your computer keyboard, and then it takes you direct to the help category where you find point. It takes you direct to the point help. So on the point help here, you have the command for PD mode, which is a point mode. So this point description mode, so that is the command prompt. That's what we're going to type in to be able to modify the point. So by the time you type in PD mode, and then it gives you options to select. So the next option in the command prompt will be select the point, the type of point, the mode of point you want. So I am targeting code 34, this 34 here, that's what I'm targeting. So I will just close, minimize this, and go back to the model space, and then I will type PD mode and then press the enter key, and then the command prompt will instruct me enter value for PD mode. Then I will type 34 and press the enter key. So with this setup, now I can have a great looking point by the time I click here and then click somewhere around the model space. You will see my points are coming out very clear now. So that's how you set up the points before you start making use of it. So let's select this and clear it off with the clear tool, and then get started. Assuming you have a horizontal alignment and the curve data is given to you that the total curve length is 600 millimeters, or let's say 600 millimeters, and the tangent point is being given to you like the beginning of curve, the center of curve, and the end of curve. So you won't be able to identify that here until you establish that curve. So to establish a curve along a horizontal alignment like this, just click on the fillet tool, right click and choose radius. Then your radius should be the total length of the curve, which is 600 in this case. Press the enter key and then hit the first line, then hit the second line, then the curve will be established. My zoom was too close, that's why it pops up like that, but you can zoom back to see how the curve has been established. So on this curve here, you have this start point of that curve, which is the beginning of the curve. The center point is also there, you can identify it, and also the end of point. So how to identify that? You simply click on the curve, maybe look out somewhere and just click on the curve, and then it gives you those positions. This is the those positions are highlighted right here. This is the beginning of the curve, this is the center of the curve, and this is the end of the curve. So now you can call your points, and then logically move your cursor around those points, and then it will snap, because you have enabled you have enabled your object snap. So it's snapping. This is the beginning of the curve. You will drop the point and then take your cursor around the center, then you will see it will also snap to the midpoint of that curve, and you will drop, and then you go to the end of the curve. Just be logically positioning your cursor, and then it will also snap. So press the escape key. At this point, you will have those points established at those places. So if you are a road designer, this is good for you. Subdivisions, this can also be used, and it's a very great tool. So that is how you can achieve this. And let me give one more tip to the road designers. For you to now have this as your, since I told you this is a center point, for you to now have offset of the roadside, you can just press offset, which is O on your keyboard, press the enter key, and then let's say from this center point to the other side of the road, maybe is 500. So you press in there and then you offset. It gives you that offset to the other side. So that is going to be the center line for your road. And this can be styled, can be used layer. You can use layers to control this. You can select this and then choose that particular layer. Maybe you create a layer called point, so you can choose that to manage that with different color, so on and so forth. So that's how you can make use of points in AutoCAD. Hatch. Hatch is simply as the pictorial view is attempting to show. Here you have the hatch tool. That's what you make use of it for. You create hatches like that. You have different patterns. Here is just one pattern, but you have different patterns. So to make use of hatch, just click the hatch button, and then a hatch and gradient dialog box like this will come. And right here you can choose the pattern you want by clicking on the knob just by the side. This, you have a knob here, a tab here, just click on it. This enables you to choose a pattern of your choice. So we are making use of the ANSI 31. You select that and you say OK. So you have the angle and scale. So the angle, we're not going to be mindful, but you can change the orientation of those slanty lines there, and the scale can also be changed. Definitely you won't use 1. So the scale should be something that it goes up to 600, and it's not constant to that, depending on how large or small you want the patterns to be. Sometimes you just try out and see if it works fine, then it's good to go. Otherwise you come back here and edit. So once you choose the pattern, you change the scale, and if sometimes you change the angle, you click pick point. So this pick point is to enable you pick the point that you intend to hatch the drawing. So you click, you want to pick this point, you don't want to hatch this portion, you just want this portion to be hatched. So once you do that, you will right click at this moment and say preview. So you see the preview of it. That means that scale is extremely large. You can only see one of the pattern line showing. So you press the the escape key, it takes you back to the dialog. So now we know that if we drop something like 45, and then this time around preview right here in the dialog box, you will see 45 will give us something good. So if you are satisfied with it, just press the enter key and it will accept that. So this is how you hatch. If you intend to cover this portion too, as at the time you clicked here, after the pick point, you can also click here. Let's try it out again. Right click and choose repeat hatch. You can repeat instant actions right here, but if you have done multiple instances that you want to locate one, you can always come back here. These are your recent input. Under recent input, mind you, recent input, you find the commands you have recently used. So we want hatch. Hatch is quite instant, so it's still here. So you click that, it takes us back, and then this time around we want add point. We'll click and then we'll pick just this portion here, and then we'll right click and ask it to preview, but we can say enter because we are not too sure of the settings. So settings is 45 scale, yeah, that's good to go, and then 90. All right, preview this time around. If it is okay by you, press the enter key and it goes. That's how you hatch. So you can also hatch a gradient kind of effect. Let's also take a look at that. You can you have the gradient option here, but mind you, the gradient option is on the same dialog box where you had the hatch. You can switch between gradient and hatch, not minding the tools that are there. You can switch to the gradient and then choose colors. Choose the type of colors you want. If you want brighter colors like yellow, yes, you can do that, and then you can blend it up like so. Play with it, choose 2 colors. You have the option to choose 2 colors here. You can play with the blending and choose any color of your choice, and then you say pick point, just the same way you did initially. Pick point, preview, and then you have your gradient right here. By the time you say enter, and then it accepts this. So that's how it's very handy, a very handy quick tool used to achieve professional looking design. So next is how you can use the text tool. You have multi-text tool here To use this, you click on the text tool and then specify a first corner by clicking. Specify a first corner like that, and then move your cursor to the opposite corner. Take a look at the command prompt. AutoCAD is telling you specify opposite corner. So the opposite corner is simply moving your cursor as if you're creating a rectangular box, and once you have it like this, you just have to click. And once you click, you don't have anything to do with the dialog box for now. Just go ahead and type in your text. So once you type in your text, you can click on the OK button here, or you click outside the box and it will close up the dialog box and you have your text placed. Now mind you, you can edit the text as well. You can change in things like bold, underline, and stuff like that. You can even change the styles. You have additional tools here where additional symbols here where you can drop and then find things like degree symbol, minus, and diameter. You have so many of them depending on your choice or project. Then you click OK and then you have it in place. So this is how basically you can create text in your project. So now we are totally done with the drawing tool. In the next tutorial we should be looking at the modifier tools.